Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Hero Bishop, and today I'm doing a review of Abara, the complete deluxe edition by, I ain't even gonna say his first name because I always butcher it, but I think I say the last name right, Nihei. It's the dude from Blam, so stay tuned.
These action figures on my shelf, man, they drive the ladies crazy. Knuckle, I'm watching comic book movies, so they wanna have my baby. Knuckle.
So yeah, man, I was looking for this for a while. I could only really find it on eBay for like $40 or $50. And I don't know if this was a reissue or what, but I found it at Books A Million, so I was like, hell yeah. Nice hardcover edition, a little bit oversized, so that's cool, larger than a regular manga. And basically this is about, I don't know what if they're supposed to be aliens or like demons or what, but there's these creatures called guanas, and they want to like destroy these mausoleum things, and I don't know if the mausoleums are like some secret technology or some shit in them. And there's white guanas, which be destroying the shit, and then black guanas are like these people got the technology or the skin suits of these monsters or whatever. I know this doesn't make a lot of sense. A lot of Nihei's writing is pretty vague though, so I mean it's almost like you can fill in the blanks yourself type of shit. But it says, the ancient massive structures had existed for so long that they were considered nothing more than features of the natural terrain. No one suspected what lay within. And there's these different agencies, kind of like what we had in Biomega, that are like going around trying to control or stop these things. You see, it's almost like a pandemic type situation where different guanas are like busting out of these people's bodies, or these people are changing into these things. And dope, here you can see, just like in Blam and Biomega, Nihei really focuses on a lot of the architecture and structure with his world building. And this is kind of like this one guy who gets the black guana suit or whatever. People are tripping on him, and they need him to get help, come help. He's like, she's like, this chick's like, there's been a corporal manifestation in a populated area. It's a white guana, and he's basically like, fuck off. The observation bureau promised to leave me alone. That was the deal. He used to fuck with them, and he's trying to be left alone now. But you know, shit's popping off, and you know, they're calling. So this dude is like a guy that turns into the black guana suit or whatever, and is going out trying to help stop these things. A lot of people are getting fucked up, killed by these things. It's pretty buck. You can see they like mutate and turn into bigger ones. But here's dude popping up in the black guana suit to kind of help fight. Pretty badass. And there's another chick in here that they turn into like one of these white guana things or whatever to help fight the other ones. I don't know if there's like I said, like, look at this art. This art's crazy as fuck, dude. It's almost like, fuck, man. They're like alien biomech suits or some shit. But then there's this other chick, and they kind of morph her into one and shit. And her and this dude in the black one kind of band together to fight these fools. And there's a lot of like, these little agencies are betraying each other and shit. Just like there was two agencies in Biomega that were kind of there to deal with that shit. There is in this, but like these fools be killing and shooting each other and shit too. I like this artwork a lot. This dude's really fucking weird looking. He's one of the guys that kind of helps, is in charge of like the chick that they put the white guana suit on. And I never remember these motherfuckers' names, but pretty freaky. So it says ready Nayuta for use. That's the chick. They like, I don't know if they made her or what, but obviously there's like a little fucking, her name or whatever's on her foot. So apparently she was made into one of these guana type creatures to help fight. the white guanas. And then there's this other dude in the black guana suit. A lot of violence, a lot of shit happening. This dude's head gets chopped off. So somehow they got this little girl in a weird wheelchair, and she's somehow connected to Nayuta, the chick that like turned into a guana to go help fight the enemy. And somehow she's connected to her. So they're like, where's she at? She's like, she's on top of the building somewhere. She doesn't want to come home. Tell her to unbind the placenta. She got him there. And that's kind of a weird, vague thing that you don't, which I'm making this sound like it makes no sense and it's not cool, but it really is a pretty badass story. If you read it, you can get the gist of it. And he's like, oh, she's got to come home. And she's the Nayuta or whatever is kind of out of control. This chick is like, oh, it's no use. But like I said, these other agencies are like turning on each other and shit. They start killing each other. But they're both like trying to contain the situation and shit. There's something about Nihei. He's always got these different agencies battling against each other that don't necessarily, they both think they're doing the right thing in just a different way, like trying to stop these guana things or stop the contagion in Biomega. There's also this organization called the Fourth Aeon Guild, and I guess since like back in the day they've been fighting against these manifestations. And so like I think the only two members left are like this bird. Another corporal manifestation has occurred, and this like weird like skull thing. It's like a head, but then it goes on a body. This is the second one. It's possible that a chain has begun, so like shit's popping off. They're coming out all over the city. A dude from the Aeon Guild says, I can't say that the observation agents are fully prepared for this. Even with all their power, they are far from ready. So these Aeon Guild motherfuckers are about to get out here and help stop this shit. There's that Nayuta chick. They're like releasing her into the field to help fight. She turns into like a real crunk kind of guana. And that guy from the beginning that was like, fuck y'all, leave me alone. His name's like Kaido, I think. He's still out there trying to fight these things. And Nihei does a lot of storytelling without even using words. But it's badass because the art speaks for itself, I think. Also, the chick in the wheelchair from earlier, I said, is somehow connected. So like when that thing gets hurt, she gets hurt. Like her arm's getting cut off right there. And they're like, what the fuck's going on, that weird looking dude? And she's like, no, there's one more. And here they are at those mausoleum things I was talking about. Which later in the book, they use, some of the agents use the mausoleum thing. There's like some kind of technology in there that fucking flies them off to a different place while this whole world's getting fucked up or whatever. But look at that expansiveness, man. I love Nihei's architecture. And there's a bunch of that in Blam, too. I'm still waiting for volume 1 of Blam to, it's on back order so I can get into that. Like I talk about how much I like Blam, but I've really only like read a little bit of it online and like have seen the movie and shit, So in the end of part 1, you know, Ayawata or whatever her name is was kind of out for a while, but these two agents, and now this is just my interpretation of it, man. If somebody else has read this and understands it better, let me know, because this is at least what I'm getting from it. These two agents, all these other agents are killing each other, and these two agents are like the last ones so far from part 1. And they kind of go in and use some kind of machine to revive that Ayawata chick. And then there's the Kaido dude, which I fucking, you know. And they're still like the last two that are trying to help fight these guanas. And I thought it was cool that there's some translation notes in there. And then you go on to Abara part 2. Another dope page. And this gets more into the, here's some more color pages. Like a lot of his leading male characters in these books look the same, like Keely from Blam, the lead from Biomega, and I think that's cool because you can kind of just like imagine that all the fucking characters are Keely or whichever one of these guys connects with you more, because he kind of draws the architecture and all his shit in the same kind of way. So that's cool. Like chick's morphing into like this crazy iguana for the fight. And that the ones that they were originally trying to fight and track down in the beginning are just growing bigger and bigger. Here's those fourth Aeon Guild people I was talking to you about, that weird like skull thing, and then the bird. They're coming in to try to help stop these things. He has this little shit on their back. I don't remember what that is. It's like some kind of missile or some bullshit that they end up shooting at him. And the skull guy is obviously willing to die to stop this thing, because they're getting up on this machine to fucking shoot this thing at the iguana. It has some kind of other organism in it that turns into like a fucking one of those alien creature things, and they're gonna shoot it over at this motherfucker to try to stop it. And it kind of gets stuck, so this guy's gonna jump on it himself to like help dislodge it and get it shot over there. And the bird's like, nah bro, you're gonna fucking get fucked up and die. And he's like, whatever, I don't give a fuck, because he wants to, you know, he'll sacrifice himself to stop this thing, because that was like the fourth Aeon Guild, hold it down and keep these things contained, like throughout the history of this world, as far as I know, or as far as I'm understanding. So the Kaido dude and the Naiwata chick are still in like iguana form or whatever, fighting these white iguanas, and those two agents left are like trying to plod along and get to this mausoleum thing. And she's like, Nayuata, she sees her. Obviously this fucking iguana thing's getting bigger and bigger, and it's going towards that mausoleum to try to fucking like destroy it or whatever. Crazy artwork. You don't have to have a lot of dialogue in his fucking books to tell a story. Super dope. I like that. It makes these a quick read. Not that we want everything to be a quick read, because we want to enjoy it, but it's just cool to me that he can convey that shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it is left up to your own interpretation. You know what I'm saying? So those two agents find this mausoleum. They're inside of it. The battle continues with Kaido and Naiwata. They eventually beat this thing and allow these people to escape, and these two agents to escape in this mausoleum. And it says the mausoleum also functions as a launch mechanism, and they basically get out of here and bust up out of this whole world. And these observation bureau agents find out that they were supposed to get to this mausoleum and escape on these spore ships and fly out of here, because these fools were waiting for the manifestation chain of these iguanas to basically thin out the population. Because the last time that happened, 14 of the mausoleums were destroyed and the human population dropped. But most of the mausoleums weren't even devoured by the white iguanas. They were demolished by humans at war with each other over control of the mausoleums. So basically they're like, we ain't gonna let that happen again and let our secret get out. And by secret, I'm assuming they mean these iguana things and the iguanas that they, suits or whatever that they empower these people with to help control and fight these things. So they're launching off in that ship. It's real fucking wild. Floating off into space. And then they end up on this like other world. And it looks pretty nice, man. It looks pretty nice. You know, trees, little house and shit. And so that's the end. And then you see these two floating on this like rock in space. And I'm not sure if this is the Kaido dude and Nayuwata or whatever her name was. And they're just out here doing their thing. Because there's like a story after this where that's totally separate, where the Kaido dude pops up again taking care of business. And or if it's those two agents and they got the iguana suits. So But it leaves that up to interpretation too. And maybe after I read this, maybe if I read this a second time, I'll understand it a little more. And, you know, the vagueness of it doesn't really bother me. Y'all let me know what you think about that. If that shit trips you out, or do you think that would be cool? But there's a second story. Little fold out poster in the book. That's cool. Digimortal, part 1. So this next story is kind of crazy. And to be honest, I wish there was more of it. Because it seemed... like, I liked the Abara, it was sick, but this one seemed kind of cooler. These two chicks are like going around for this agency that basically wipes out and exterminates people that they don't feel are have proper authorization to be there. And by that, look at that art, dude, it's crazy. This more kind of reminds me of Blam in a way, or maybe a lead up to it. But it says, a mega conglomerate, the Church of Transformation, secured a monopoly on the excavation of past technologies, which they used to institute a virtual world government. With their faith in these technologies, they forged ahead with extreme cybernetic augmentation of the human body. At the same time, they institutionalized an inquisition system to track down and punish those who exhibited evidence of genetic manipulation, such as immortal individuals produced by the civilization that existed prior to the Great Collapse. So... basically, you get the premise of that. And Kaido and this other chick pop up. I think that's not Natua or Ajtua, whatever her name was. And somebody's hiring them to go and stop this Inquisition, which is cool. And the guy who's like running it and taking care of it, the big gun, created those two, the big boy created those two sisters to kind of fuck people up. And then there's these other guys that work for him, and there's like human trafficking, and they like stole this chick off one of the containers, and I think they're gonna, like, you know what I'm saying, ravage her. But your boy Kaido comes with this guana suit to take care of business, cuts the damn head off this statue, and it falls into the fucking building, starts smashing fools. Luckily, he gets to stop this and kill these dudes, chops them in half before the girl you know, gets handled by them, which is super dope. And then this fool's tripping and telling the leader guy, like, yo, homeboy's coming, he's gonna fuck us up. He's busting in here, killing everybody, which I kind of like this side story more than the Abara story, which I still think the Abara story is badass, but this is kind of cool. And these two chicks pop up and they're like, oh man, you know, we're gonna fuck you up, we're gonna stop you. But your boy's badass, he's chopping everybody up. He easily pieces these women up, fucks them up, ends them, which is tight. But I think they're badass. They remind me of those chicks in Blam that be hunting everybody down and shit. And I think when I get the first Blam book and review it, I'm gonna read it a couple times and make some notes just to better convey the my interpretation of it. But yeah, it ends with him like chilling up there. So I don't know if Nihei wrote any more stories about that. But here's a little thing about the author if you want to pause that and read that, or this was just a prequel to Blam or what. I don't know what it was, but it was tight. But anyway, let me know what y'all think about it. And as always, I appreciate you watching. Much love and respect. Peace.